দিয়ে দিয়েছে তুই ওদিকে চলে তুই ওদিকে ঘুরে যা
How are you? Want a policy? You want a policy? You want a policy?
ওখানে বসে ছবি পাবো না পিছিয়ে না 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 তখন আমার বুঝতে পারবো একটু ডান দিচ্ছে বই আছে এখন এখন লাগবে না বই আছে ঠিক আছে ড্রাইভার আছে এখন বলবে লাইট কমই তো বলছো For example, if I talk about Sholay, almost everyone knows everything about Sholay. So the challenge is to find out something which may come across in unheard of. That was the challenge, but it was a pleasurable challenge. Very, very difficult question because the reason for writing this book on one single usually people write books on decades. I have written on a single book. And the good thing about 75 is it covers every spectrum from an action film like Sholay to an emotional film like Anhi or Mosam, and then a mythological film like Prayas and Hiroshima. So the spectrum is so huge, from a commercially successful Viva to an art story like Mosam. It's variety and choice also. But I think the obvious answer, if I have to choose just one film from 75, it has to be again, a very difficult question, but Sholay would be there, Pyasa would be there. Ankur would be there. And I would probably give two very commercial cinema, which is my favorite, Amar Akbar and probably would be my five. If you ask me half an hour later, I'll have a different five. Napata Lady comes to mind. Actually, it was a wonderful film, but a small film which got a limitation. Over the years, I have been perhaps getting and there was a thriller called Monica, Oh My Darling, which I think has all the potential of being a cult classic. Oh, well, that's again a tough thing. My number one all-time favorite movie was The Casablanca. And it's a movie called Brief Encounter by David Lean. There is, of course, Psycho by Taxi Driver by Martin Scorsese. And then Woody Allen's called Cuban Hatches. These will be my... But again, anytime you ask me top five, my answer will keep on changing. There's so much of
interesting event. I may write a piece for Jharkhand for a Jharkhand newspaper. So that is very, very universal. Dealing with the world issue, universal.
Hi guys, we are at the Oxford launch of 1975 and I am the author and I have also got my copy signed and I have asked few of really nice questions. So I'll also get my copy signed when you get time. Thank you so much. ঠিক আছে আমি এটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট না আমি যেটা করলাম সেটা আমি ইউজ করি এটা অপশনাল এটা হলেও ভালো নইলে কি থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ
message
দূরে যাবে লাইভ একটু দূর দূর থেকে মারবে थोड़ा दूर दूर से वो तो देखती
Long time.
Check, check.
Can you approach my What services are required?
Thank you, Didi. Thank you. हाँ हाँ अभी देखिए तो बोलिए हम लोग पार्टी Thank you. Very
Good evening, people. Thank you so much for your patience. I can see so many guests were waiting since long. And thank you so much for the honorable guest here. So we are starting this evening. As I belong to Just, so we believe in celebrating. And today, as you all know, we are celebrating the book. And this is not just a book launch, it's a literary journey, a celebration of creativity, resilience, and the boundless potential that lives within each storyteller. We are so glad to have you all today with us to be part of this milestone by Pratik Majumdar, of course. So, दोस्तों, I, Seema Saxena, MD of Just Event Management and Promoters, on behalf of Team Just Events and Oxford Bookstore, Kolkata, welcome you all to celebrate this book launch with us. And today we are celebrating the power of pen at the book launch of 1975, the year that transformed Bollywood, by Pratik Majumdar. Please give a huge round of applause. With this, I am going to invite Bindya here, as all our guests are here. But before that, I am dedicating few lines on behalf of Pratik for Bindya. Bindya, from being Pratik's best friend in St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, because became his better. Bindya encourages Pratik in his all creative endeavors and giving all her support in all his creative work. And today's evening is specially curated by Bindya only. We are just the supporters. So these two lines I am dedicating to all of you guests. मुझे खबर थी मेरा इंतज़ार घर में रहा, मुझे खबर थी मेरा इंतज़ार घर में रहा, ये हाथ साफ था कि मैं उम्र भर सफ़र में रहा. Welcome you all, and now one by one I am welcoming you all to Ati Bhattacharya ji, our chief guest of the day. So Bindya, please present a plan.
Closer now.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I belong to Delhi and my pronunciation is so bad. I'm really sorry, sir. Ati Bhattacharya IS is currently an additional chief secretary, Sundarban Affairs, Government of West Bengal. His distinguished administrative career includes key roles such as I'm really sorry, I don't remember, this is a long
We're here for the book, not for us.
Principal Secretary of Tourism and contribution to WBIDC and Information and Culture, significantly advancing industrial promotion and tourism in West Bengal. Welcome, sir. Now, please give a huge round of applause. Now I would like to welcome his better half, Masumi Sengupta ji. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. I'm addressing the wrong. And again, I'm really sorry because my pronunciation is again bad in Bengali accent. Masumi. Oh.
I was better.
But here the question is raising you people have just changed your position. Yeah. Oh, intentional?
Just to flummox her.
So it's time for
For 3 years I keep a safe distance.
Even I'm keeping the safe distance from my husband.
Not from my wife, from the other person.
Oh, great. So, ma'am, I'm not delaying your intro now. Mashumi ma'am is an alumnus of Modern High School and an economist student from St. Xavier's College. She has worked in media for all three categories: print, audio and audiovisual. She is a popular columnist and published author and a motivational speaker. Please, Bindia, serve her with us. Welcome ma'am. Thank you so much for giving us your time. With this, it's time for our guest of honor, Pandit Bikram Ghoshi. Pandit Bikram Ghoshi is a renowned Indian tabla player, composer and film scorer who blends Hindustani classical music with innovation and fusion. He is known pioneer new soundscapes and is a leader in Indian fusion music. Welcome, sir.
Well, the name was pronounced absolutely perfectly. Pandit Bikram Ghoshi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for honoring the stage.
So that it doesn't cover faces, yeah.
Please, Anjali, come and you can pick this. Now it's time to introduce Jayasil Ghosh, ma'am. Ma'am, you are so pretty. Jayasil ma'am is an Indian actress and dancer. She was trained in Bharatanatyam from an early age by Guru Indra P.P. Bora. For 5 years, she also acted in Assamese television. Jaya went to act in 19 feature films in 8 languages and appeared in several commercials. Some of the Jaya's films received national and international awards. Thank you so much for that. Ma'am, please. Yeah. Thank you so much, audience. And I am not able to hear the round of applause from you people. I think sound has to be non-stop. And now let's go for the movement which we were waiting for, revealing the book and the cover. And here inviting hero of the day, Pratik, in front of all of us.
Wrong year. Hi everyone.
So now inviting Ma and Baba Pratik to please unveil this brand.
Yes.
And with that we ask you all to please pick these books also so that we can reveal the book as well. Yes.
India.
मैम थोड़ा आगे लेके आइए ना उसको
आगे আসলে ভালো হতো এটা একসময় ওয়াইডে পেতাম সব
ওটাকে টেনে
একটু সামনে নিয়ে আসতে হবে এটাকে সত্য হবে
तालियां रुकनी नहीं चाहिए प्लीज
ধরুন
कीप ऑन many congratulations Pratik.
সামনে একটু 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 বের হয়ে সামনে ধরুন না বইটা
With this, let me introduce Indranil also. We have a wonderful singer with us. He is not only a singer, he is a guitarist, he is a keyboard player, and he sings Bengali and Hindi songs. And is specialist in R.D. Burman and Kishore Kumar songs. So I would request him to play one song dedicated to Pratik.
Oh. राहों से लौटा रही थी जीने की तुमसे वजह मिल गई है बड़ी बेवजह जिंदगी जा रही थी तुम आ गए हो नूर आ गया Thank you so much.
Much intervene for this beautiful song. We've asked them to arrange two chairs, Pratik, this side. This side we've asked them. So the surprises are not yet over. We have one beautiful surprise from Pratik's daughter, Meghna Majumdar. Unfortunately, Meghna is not available here today, but she has sent her congratulations and to Pratik. Meghna is working with AC Nielsen Oxford UK as research analyst, and she has sent her beautiful wishes to her papa. Congratulations, Pratik.
Actually, you know that your daughter has sent this for you because she's missing the event. She's watching on the live link. Meghna is watching on the live link and she is missing this occasion with all of us. So she wanted to send something for her father.
And I'm sure Pratik has few words.
Yeah, Meghu, if you're watching this live link, I love you, my baby. And if there's one thing that is making this evening incomplete, it's you not being here. But I know all your love and all your wishes are always with me. And I'm quite speechless. But Meghu, if you're seeing this, which I know you are, I love you, my bacha. And we'll celebrate when we meet up next month. We'll celebrate this book and all of us being together big time. Love you, my baby.
I'm sure she will be so happy after seeing Pratik is not all alone. There are so many friends of him, mother and father. They both are enjoying. And
The mother is giving the handkerchief to.
she could see that too.
Yes.
With this, let me introduce you all with the book now. The year 1975 to Bollywood is what 1939 is to Hollywood. The greatest year in the film history of the respective industries. Sholay, Diwar, Pratigya, Aandhi, Mausam, Khel Khel Mein Warren, Chupke Chupke, Milli, Nishan and Dan. So many. Who can forget the jaw-dropping success of Jai Santoshi Ma? Rarely a year sees the release of such a great number of films that go on to become the cult classics. I'm sure the people who are sitting must have definitely watched so many of the films from Pratik. And we have already seen how much Pratik the movie work is. With iconic films, leading actors, filmmakers and music composers shared movies from that year and the impact of emergency on Hindi films, this guide to 1975's Bollywood offers wholesome information with fulsome entertainment. And with a small musical bite, I would like to, invite all the guests for their speech one by one. So, Shri Bhattacharya, please say a few words.
Pratik should speak first, why he wrote the book, etc. Then we should speak.
He wanted to listen your words.
Good evening. First and foremost, I'm very happy to be here today because Pratik is my dearly beloved kid brother. But I'm also honored to be here today because Pratik is one hell of a guy. So, I think I might occasionally lapse into Bangla. Growing up, you don't really take your kid cousins so seriously. But all these decades later, you realize this guy knows more than I do. Vikram would say that isn't saying much. He's always been very kind to me. But apart from this, apart from this whole thing about 50 years on, at just the right time, he's publishing this book on 1975. And I've been reading a lot of it, and I'm quite bored over. I particularly love the little nuggets of the trivia at the end of each chapter. But I can't presume to say too much about the book because I can see at least 5 people already who know about 10 times more than I do. I'll leave it to them. But you've already mentioned how Bindya is the wind beneath his wings, and she's been doing everything. A pillar of support for him. Meghu is his dearest love, and I was so touched seeing how his eyes misted over when he got the gift from Meghu. But the real, he's mentioned the heroes of 1975, the heroines of 1975, the leading ladies. But the real hero and heroine that he's grown up with are his father and mother, my mama and mummy. They have always been the leading, the lady and the leading man in his life. So Prayas Majumdar, my much admired and a little intimidated of this very, very bright and successful mama, this corporate manager. And Mamima is a sweetheart. And the others here, I'll come to the others. Joya, whom I have known for 20 years now, almost. I still remember the first time I got to know about Joya was during a program at St. Xavier's in the evening, and Maushami and I were wondering, why is Vikram on the phone for an hour?
Not you.
Yeah, she pointed it out.
Yeah. So you knew the name.
She was very successful in films until one film really brought about a change in her life. I won't say whether it's better for better or worse. There was a movie called Hothat Niraj Channe where she met somebody. Now, the other person, Pandit Vikram Ghosh, again, it's very difficult to realize the stature of somebody whom you first met outside Arunda's canteen. So, but I have highest regard for him, and I'm sure he does for me as well. We are always very kind to each other. but forget all about his achievements and his stature and his talent. This is one man who never fails to turn up for a friend. So he one word and he turns up. 20 years ago, this man, between concerts in 2 Indian cities, came to Milan for a day to play because I had asked him to. I can never forget that. I can also never forget what he did when he got there, but that's off the record. And I have to mention my much better half, much more dynamic, much more organized, much more knowledgeable about films, Maushami Sengupta, who I think has also been of some help here.
Oh, please.
And I can see a lot of other people, I can see my other cousins, very talented people. I can see Sanjay. At the back of the room, lurking at the back of the room, I can see a good friend.
A national award winner twice.
Twice national award winner, who has fought books on R.D. Burman and Kishore Kumar, our idols. And an outstanding singer, so you could invite him up to sing with you. Or the only problem with having Aniruddha Bhattacharya in the room is his invariable response, an unfailing response when you come out with anyone. This is a man who can tell R.D. Burman, I don't know, but I suspect he has sent that to R.D. Burman's musicians who have said something about Kishore Kumar. But a galaxy of talent, and I'm very glad you're all here because 75, Pratik was what? 6. Yeah. I was a little older. I didn't go see films at that point. I was a language teacher. But I came to those movies through the music, and over the years, Pratik and I discussed that music together, took great joy in it together. Until, of course, we came to the 2000s and we realized that but you see, the music of those days, I am sorry, I mean, it shows my age. That was 50 years ago. I still think there was no decade like the 70s for great music. Incredible. This was the decade when, forget R.D. Burman, half the decade, Sachin Kotta was still there, Madan Mohan was still there, Jaidev was there, Chitragupta also had some, what a decade for music. And Rajesh Roshan, Rajesh Roshan, such an underrated composer, brilliant. And our Gurudev, of course, was still there. So, and he's also mentioned the music in his movie. I've been just leafing through the book. I love it. Not only because it provides information, but because it repeats the mood that we had 50 years ago. There's a lot of people in this room who weren't born 50 years ago. I hope you read the book, I hope you see the films, and I hope you enjoy the music and what Pratik has created for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this beautiful information provided by you. As Pratik is already an encyclopedia, but I can see his company is also carrying a lot of information about books, and even in the audience. So now I request Mashumi ma'am. Okay. Then ma'am, I would request you please to Jayasil ma'am to. I hope I pronounce it right this time. Namaskar.
Jayasil Ghosh, which is correct, no problem. Well, this is for me a new experience. I'm not a very good reader, but the subject of this book is so interesting. When Uttrida and Moshvidi, just call me for this book launch. I thought this is something interesting, and I would love to be part of it, and I feel I'm honored to be part of it. It's such a wonderful subject, like 1975 Bollywood. It is our time, which actually me and Vikram always, we say that, that's a connection between us of old music, old films, those time films, and it's really wonderful, the 70s films. I was telling Moshubidi, as I opened the book, when the book came to a house, and I saw the Geet Gata Chal. If you remember, all of you, Geet Gata Chal. I saw that film in television that time. I remember the purity of the film. That is the part of the 70s, you know, when I was reading some part I was reading. As there's Sholay, there is Jai Santoshima. I remember my Baba used to be a film distributor, Chandivata Films. So he has distributed Jai Santoshima in Guwahati. So I know the craze of Jai Santoshima in that time. So this 70 is an era where we see the creativity in different angle, with the music, with the filmmaking, and the simplicity, the purity of Indian films, you know, the love of films, where we can see the Indianness in the film. Now the things are, a lot of films are influenced by the Western world, but there's honesty in the filmmaking was there. That is what he has analyzed. I was reading through the way he is explaining the filmmaking style from music directors of 70s, from every film, the details of every film, how the filmmaking process went, and how the director's process of that film, how the film wants to say to the audience. And there's so much philosophical thing in those kind of some of films. So that also he has pointed out. I think this is something everyone going to love it, to love the film again and go to 70s, as Otrida said. That, you know, আমরা আবার 70s এর ফিল্মগুলো দেখতে চাইবো, গানগুলো তো শুনি, I think সবাই শুনে 70s এর গানগুলো. So এইগুলো I think it's a plus point of the film, and I'm really wishing you all the best for this film, and thank you so much, Bindya. Thank you for curating so beautifully. She's throughout, you know, এটা করছি ওটা করছি. So I really appreciate it, and wish this book to be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for these beautiful words. Now I request Mashumi ma'am to please.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. A lot of my relatives and friends are here, and all the rest. So I know Pratik. I mean, here I think we had a discussion. We are not supposed to mention the pet names. That will make my husband O3 most embarrassed. So last time Bindia made that mistake and still she. It was a deliberate. So
it was a deliberate mistake which I still hear from, but I derive a lot of joy in having done that. I will not do it today. I will not do it.
So this is Pratik, and he doesn't have a pet name. Let's put it this way. I know him through marriage, but he's a brother. I've cut that in-law out. I mean, no matter whatever the others say. But I got to know him at a later stage because he used to live in Bombay and then London, and when we connected, we definitely connected through films and music and a lot of adda, which my Shoshur family, they are famous for. I mean, and those addas included these kinds of film discussion and of course music. Now I grew up in the 70s, and to me, I mean, I still am a die-hard Hindi film fan, Bollywood fan. So I see all kinds of, there was a time when I used to go every week, even say in the last 4-5 years before COVID, any bad film, good film, good films I loved, bad films gave me kicks. So I'm like that kind of a movie buff, and unlike my husband, I used to see all these films because my father was also, he loved taking us everywhere. And any good film, he took us to the movie halls in the 70s. I still remember which film I saw in which hall. So,
a very dangerous thing, a wife with a great memory.
So, and the 70s were a different ballgame altogether. Whenever a hero like Dharmendra came on screen, the whole hall, they used to shout out loud and throw 25 paisa coins, Chawanni, and Sholay was of course a game changer and changed everything. Now, to me, when I'm happy or even depressed, I go back to those days. I associate my nostalgia with films from those days and songs from those days. Suppose I hear a song now from the 70s, immediately class 7 half-yearly exams. Immediately class 5, some kind of exam. I feel very happy and sometimes very sad, but it's a combination of sadness. It's a different kind of nostalgia, and it's a kind of feeling that I won't be able to describe. Maybe people from my generation, go through the same thing. Today's generation, I see the songs and movies that are, whatever, 100 days, 50 days, 150. They don't talk of Silver Jubilee and Golden Jubilee. They don't talk of that.
Money.
Yeah, they talk of money, crores, etc. But tell me, how many films of, say, 2020 you remember? The same generation, do they remember? The songs, do they remember? No. But 70s is immortal. And my brother Pratik has helped all of us to go back to, in times by compiling such a lovely book where he has analyzed each film that was significant in great detail, lot of research, small lovely anecdotes at the end of the films, at the end of each chapter, and also how the music influenced us along with the films those days. Of course, R.D. Burman being the best and Kishore Kumar being the best, and me being a die-hard fan of Rajesh Khanna, the deadly combination. I'm going through the book, I'm reading, and I'm getting teary-eyed. So, and all those single screens, not like today, multiplex, you go there, only 30 people sitting, having popcorn, 500, it was not like that. We went to this single screen, it was packed when the films are really, the good films, they were packed. Bahar mein 5 ka 10, 10 ka 20, the blackers who made a living out of this.
There were even movies about the blackers.
Which?
There were even movies about the blackers.
Yes, so, and all these things. Yes, correct. So, that was in 1977, I think, yes. So, yes, Manmohan Desai, who also changed, yes. So, this is a big hand for Budush, for Pratik, who's really, no, that's acceptable for Pratik, who's compiled the whole thing, not only for us, for our nostalgia and reminiscence, but for the current generation who should definitely go through this book and they will at least understand. And all these movies are, I think, available in OTT platforms and YouTube. I think they should all go through this. As far as I'm concerned, I'm planning to go through Sholay another 50 times once it's released again with its changed climax. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, will it release? No? Only abroad? No, I think it'll come at least on the OTT. So I've already seen it at least 50 times and 50 times more. Thank you, Budush, for this lovely gift to all of us.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for bringing this nostalgia in all of us. Though I don't remember few of the movies, name even, but definitely going to watch them now. Thank you so much for the information. Now request Pandit Bikram Ghosh sir to please go ahead with your kind words.
Thank you. Normally, it's not a good idea to call O3 and me to the same function. But nevertheless, destiny has it so.
So I was born. So I was born.
The 70s, there's one word which has stuck with me, and pun intended, flair. So the flare pants, those who remember, we used to compete, friends used to compete with each other. Amatta 26 inchi, amatta 28 inchi. So we used to go to the tailor and get those kind of trousers done. And I think the psyche of that period was also, the psyche was F-L-A-I-R. There was a flair for everything. And if you just look at the movies, I mean, brilliantly, see, I never thought that all these movies were released in 1975. I knew that, that's the 70s, but now that you bring it to notice, it's really something, because you have as diverse movies as Sholay and Jess Santoshima, I mean, imagine that. But that's not it. Look at Andhi, and then you have Charan Das Chor. Then you have Choti Si Baat, then you have Diwar. Actually, you have a Dharam Karam, and then you have a Dharmatma, Godfather adaptation. You have Kala Sona. And for me, on a personal note, a lot of people think that, I'm the son of Pandit Shankar Ghosh. My father is a very, very well-known, was a very well-known tabla player, classical musician. Nobody would think that he would be going to watch Hindi films. Every single film in this book, I went to see with my parents, and night show between 3 or 4 cinema halls. Maximum being Manoka. We lived in Kobil Road. So Manoka Cinema Hall, we used to walk down after my father's classes and just go to Manoka and watch the next film. Baba used to go send a student to get tickets. Then there was Boshusri, there was Priya, Ujjala. And 90% we saw night shows. But now even Ujjala I watched Betab and Ujjala, so a lot of films came here. Hindi films also. But yeah, what's really important here, I think, is that this obviously was a period of time where people were expanding their horizons. They were thinking. A lot of people were thinking out of the box, and somehow everything was coexisting beautifully. Nowadays, I think that's what we're missing in some sense, that there is not so much variety. There is, But the variety is now you're watching a Hollywood film, you're watching a Bangla film, you're watching a Hindi film, all of that. But look at this kind of melting pot that you have in 1975. That's really crazy. And the kind of talent that was there. Otri mentioned the music, Moshimitu, of course, the music was God sent. There was no auto-tune. Kishore Kumar was singing. If singing in sur is a bullseye, then he was going right through the center. Editing was a very nominal editing. You know, they used to have to. I've seen that actually. They used to have to take the tape and they would look at it, put it across a tube light, and then cut it.
It was called Moviola.
Yeah. So I mean, my first album we edited like that. So we're that generation which is the last kind of, you know. Along with that, as he correctly mentioned, look at the plethora of music directors. Oh my God. And now when I watch many of those films, actually we watch many of those films for the brilliant music. But then there are some films like an Andhi, like a Sholay, like Choti Si Baat. I watched Choti Si Baat so many times. Every time you watch it, it's a great film. Rishikesh Mukherjee's Chupke Chupke, what a film. These are movies, you know, and I confess, Moshmi, every night, Joya knows, after I come back from work, I switch on some of these films. The last one I switched on before I went off to Bombay yesterday night I was watching Dharmatma. And it's, and the dynamism in that era was really something. I think people were confident enough to explore. They were even looking at, you know, you mentioned the cowboy genre, you know. So there was Eastwood doing that in Hollywood, and here was our own Feroz Khan, you know, doing a Kala Sona. It's an incredible era. Now, allow me this slight digression. Let's not forget the rest of the world at that time. In the world of music, we're talking of Bollywood, but let's not forget, because I was part of 2-3 different eras, you know. So we had also a Ravi Shankar, also an Ali Akbar. There was Lata Mangeshkar there, Kishore Kumar there, Ravi Shankar here, Hemant Mukhopadhyay there. It was a renaissance of sorts, you know. I mean, incredible. It was you had the ghazals coming in slowly, you know. They peaked at around 1980, 82. The ghazals peaked, but so many genres. Okay, there was. When we were kids, you know, in school, we were also listening to a lot of rock and roll, you know. So everything came together in the 70s in such a way that I personally think it was really a renaissance. And I'm really happy that you've written a book which actually pinpoints this particular year, because it had not struck me that all these movies were in the same year. I don't know how that struck you. How did it strike you?
Actually, you know, I initially wanted to do an entire book on the 70s as a decade. But when I started listing down the movies that I wanted to talk about, I realized maximum number of them were from 75. I mean, you have a Sholay Diwar. You know, we often talk about this quality versus quantity thing. 75 had 3 movies by Gulzar Saab. Andhi, Mausam and Khushbu. I mean, just all brilliant. All brilliant. It had 2 movies by Rishikesh Mukherjee, Chupke Chupke and Mili. So, you know, there goes the quality-quantity debate out for a toss, because nowadays you have filmmakers who make 1 movie in 3 years. And here are such celebrated makers making 3 movies in a single year. So I realized when I was making that list, most of the films are from 75. And then I said, you know, why not celebrate 50 years of that great year? This year being 2025, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to celebrate 50 years of such a, it's probably the peak year in the 70s. You know, I mean, it started with the Rajesh Khanna wave, late 60s, and that sort of defined the beginning of the 70s. Then you had the emergence of Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan had 4 classic movies which I think defined his status as a performer. in 73. He had Saudagar, he had Abhiman, he had Zanjeer, and he had Namak Haram. So I think what a year for an actor to have roles like that. But it was 75 where he finally became the number one with Sholay, Diwar, and he had Chupke Chupke, Milli, he had Farrar where he was...
I remember Farrar, yes. Underrated film.
Yes, absolutely.
What an interesting performance, you know, brilliant. I remember that too. No, I would like to also recognize like what you did. Aniruddha, where are you? Can you just come ahead a little bit, please? Yeah, I mean, this man has also done incredible work representing our generation and what we felt about the 70s.
I'd like to add here that I knew Aniruddha from before. Aniruddha.
Get him a chair. Get him a chair. Yeah, go on.
No, I knew Aniruddha before his first book was out, and I think one of my main influences to write a book on Hindi cinema has been Aniruddha. He, his books on R.T. Burman. Your R.T. Burman book is a Bible. Your R.T. Burman book Aniruddha is a Bible to me. I think it's one of the really good books. There's a plethora of books on Bollywood now. I have my opinions on some of them, not all of them. But your book, the R.T. Burman book, to me is still one of the best books I have read.
I even love the Kishore Kumar.
The Kishore Kumar book I still haven't finished.
Amazing work.
So yeah, thank you for coming here. I'm very, very touched that you've actually managed to take time out and come here. Before you say anything, Aniruddha, I'll ask you to sing a song from 1975. Any song of your choice from 1975.
He sang a Kishore Lata duet. May I sing a Manna De song? I saw the film in 75. Okay. I believe it was censored in 74 and also... Yeah, it's a well-known song. It's from a slightly underrated film of 74, which incidentally released in Kolkata in 75. And it's a film with Rajesh Khanna and Shorbula Tagore. And it flopped. Avishkar.
Kanu Roy. That's a beautiful piece. It's a very tough song. Very tough song.
It should be reasonably simple. हंसने की चाहने इतना मुझे रुलाया है हंसने की चाहने इतना मुझे रुलाया है कोई हमदर्द नहीं दर्द मेरा साया है हंसने की चाहने इतना मुझे रुलाया है दिल तो उलझा ही रहा जिंदगी की बातों में सांसें चलती हैं कभी कभी रातों में किसी की याद पे ये कौन मुस्कुराया है कोई हमदर्द नहीं दर्द
दर्द मेरा साया है, हंसने की चाह ने इतना मुझे रुलाया है। सपने चलते रहे रोज नई रातों से, कोई फिसला है अभी अभी बाहों से। सपने चलते रहे रोज नई रातों से, कोई फिसला है अभी अभी बाहों से। नाना भूल गया नाना लला ला, कोई हमदर्द नहीं दर्द मेरा साया है, हंसने की चाह ने इतना मुझे रुलाया है।
Regular Prayas করছে মনে হচ্ছে।
When I was talking, I just got carried away about the 75 films and the author, but I must mention, which I forgot to, number one, my mama and mommy to have given us this gift, and his much better half, Prayas Majumdar, who has curated this entire program. She's been working tirelessly for the last 1 month, coordinating with everyone, and today you get such a beautiful evening. It is all thanks to her. I think 100% credit should go to her. And I would like Vindhya to say a few words. Few words from Vindhya, please. Without her, this book would not have happened.
I must say something about Vindhya.
Vindhya ki embarrass kar chakki back ho.
I'll be embarrassing your husband.
हम लोग तो 70s से विद्या गोस्वामी के चिंता।
It's slightly different. How I came to know, like Mr. Majumdar. Okay, I came to know, I came from a Kishore Kumar group, and later I found out that he was a hardcore Adi Burman freak. So to simply give an example of how much he is a Adi freak, last year, I think it was in June, and we were having a lunch together. And I was, and after seeing, after seeing, generally hum Bindiya chamkegi, and why this song? Why this LP song? Why didn't you sing Bindiya tarse kajra bar? Look, it's such a happy occasion. আমরা সবাই খাবার খাচ্ছি এখানে। No. আদি বর্মনের গান করতে হবে।
Unfortunately, Vindhya নামটা শুনলে the first song that people sing is irritatingly Vindhya chamkegi.
Not irritating.
Very irritating.
আচ্ছা একটা কথা না বললেই নয়, আমি একটু ডাইগ্রেস করতে চাই। You know, I recently, about 6 months back, I had the privilege of having a 4-hour session with Prayas ji, you know, and because I curated LP nights, I did to your, you know, you'll be happy about this. I did 2 years of curation for Adi Burman in Serendipity in Goa, and then I had to do 1 year for LP also, you know. So I had gone to Prayas ji's house and we were talking, and I was venting a little frustration. The key. हम लोग अभी जब काम करते हैं, we are sitting alone with the programmer in a room, you know, and I said to Prayas ji, आपके ज़माने में तो, you know, you used to have 80-90 musicians, 80-90, 160 violins and cellos, 160, and then I said, अच्छा तो सर ढोलक कितने होते थे? 12, 12 ढोल, हम लोग एक आदमी को लेके काम करते हैं. We are sitting in a room with one programmer, and then one person comes. Imagine the cumulative energy of Mehboob. Imagine the cumulative energy of that floor. And then a Kishore Kumar, a Lata Mangeshkar, Manna De, they are entering and they're meeting the musicians. They're all having a meal together. That produces that kind of work, you know. The warmth, that whole human energy, an incredible human energy, you know. So that's what we miss today, you know. So আমাদের অতটা কপাল ভালো নয় আমি প্যারালাজিকে বললাম যে I'm so jealous sir आप लोग ऐसा माहौल में काम करते थे
বিক্রম আমি ওখানে থাকলে I would have said something exactly on this Kasi got the late Kasi got maverick musician from a family of great musicians so he had described this वो तो था प्यारे भाई का ये रिकॉर्डिंग 250 म्यूजिशियन महबूब ये फेमस तो छोटा स्टूडियो उतना तो उसमें से 100 थे बाहर खड़े थे सो वी कॉल देम आउटस्टैंडिंग म्यूजिशियंस
but একটা কথা বলতে পারি বিক্রম one of the best things that's happening that whole human energy of everybody you know, participating in music. The family, I have some cousins there. Osadharan musical talent. All of it. And their knowledge of music and their passion for music and the human energy of the adda. একদিন প্রতীকের সঙ্গে আড্ডায় বসলে বুঝি।
তোর মনে আছে? Sorry, you know, we are all doing terms. O3 officially had the largest Kishore Kumar collection that I knew anybody to have in cassettes, you know, in college. So we used to all go and borrow his cassettes and make cheap copies.
18 Sony D90 cassettes non-stop.
18 Sony D90 cassettes non-stop. O3 had. So we're all these crazy. So when he said, you know, Vikram, it's this, it's like, you know, wow, what else could it be?
Okay, now over to Bindya.
This is a wonderful.
How you did it? How did you do this beautiful evening? What is your contribution?
I have absolutely no contribution to this evening. The book is written by Pratik. It's absolutely his baby. It's his passion. It's his love. It's something that I would say, yes, he's worked hard on. But it hasn't been a toiling effort because all the research and everything is all here. You can make Pratik talk for hours on cinema, on these years, especially Kishore Kumar, R.D. Burman, so all that. And I have to say a very big thank you to Moshumi Di, who has helped us so much in doing everything. In fact, I want to tell you all, they were on a holiday. They were supposed to come 2 days later, but because I requested her, they took a flight this evening. 4:30 they landed at the airport.
They've come straight from the airport.
Yes, they've come straight. Bikram Da has come straight from Bombay just for this function. So I am ekdam Bombay se aaya mera dost. I am so indebted, and I was talking to both of them for the first time. Especially Jaya. Jaya spoke to me like a friend. I had never spoken to her. I called her. The first thing I heard was, "Hi Vindhya, I'm in Riyaz right now. Can I call you back?" And I was so touched with so much of warmth the way you spoke to me. Absolutely. So I said, when I meet you, I'm going to give you a tight hug, which I did do when we met down. And then of course Bikram Da after that. So with Bikram Da it was a little more formal. So I asked her, I said, from my side, I said, Pandit, Bikram, Pandit, you know, Pandit ji, to main kya bolu?
This pun should not be intended.
No. So I spoke to her, I said, okay, I'm going to send him a message. Is that okay? I'll just bounce it off you. She said, please go ahead. So I sent him a message, and at 11 o'clock in the night, I get a WhatsApp from this stalwart, this renowned musician, telling me, sorry, I've had a crazy day. I have not been able to get back to you. Please call me whenever you are free tomorrow. And I called him the next day, and he picked the call up immediately. And then he shared a few anecdotes between him and the Otrida.
Please don't share
So
them here.
I will not share. I will not. That is between friends. That is between friends. But what I'm trying to say is the warmth that I got from all of them, the way, it's just been fantastic, the whole thing. And of course, all of you here, this would not have been possible with all of you. My family, friends, it's wonderful to see all of you. I can see Shumon, our Pratik's first book publisher, I can see him here. So it's absolutely fantastic to have all of you, and I think it's just amazing. Thank you so much.
Before you all wrap it up, I just remembered something. I want to share this with you. Otri, I don't know if I've ever told you this. Maybe I have or I haven't. Talking about being crazy about R.D. Burman and Kishore Kumar. So this is 1994. I am on my first tour with Pandit Ravi Shankar. So I am a die-hard R.D. Kishore. We're not fans, we're bhakts.
Absolutely.
Bhakts.
Absolutely.
I am going to my first concert with the great Pandit Ravi Shankar in the tour bus, and I'm sitting next to the driver, and behind Raviji is sitting. So I have my Walkman in my ears, and I'm going to play my first concert with Ravi Shankar on the first tour with him. So I'm listening to my Walkman, and then Raviji says, "Hey Vikram, what are you listening?" I very innocently said, R.D. Burman, Kishore Kumar. আমার সঙ্গে বাজাতে যাচ্ছ R.D. Burman Kishore, তুমি একটু রিসার্চ করবে না কি প্রোগ্রামটা কি হতে চলেছে না চলেছে ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি। So I got my little chart from him, and I was কখনো হবে না, কানে কানে হাত চাপ দিয়ে, he's such a great senior man. So next day, 2 days later, we were going to another city, again in the tour bus. কি শুনছো? I said, I'm listening. আপনার সঙ্গে আলাদা খাসাবের এই বাজনাটা শুনছি। দেখি he didn't trust me. এটা তো আমাদের 68 এর বাজনা, চলো বললো রেখে দিয়েছি। Third day, now I know I'm safe. I'm back to Kishore Kumar. So all through, whenever I felt I had to, I had tension, I had to perform well, I had this whole baggage of classical music, my parents, the gurus, all of that, I would constantly listen to R.D. and Kishore, and that would be my home, I would go back there, and then I would come out and play the concert, and again go back there,
Something Pratik and I, that we agree that all the singers of that time, all the musicians of that time, they were great. I mean, this whole, there is this whole divide, the Rafi Kishore divide, and I think it's also a geographical divide. If you draw a line from roughly Surat to Patna, north of that is Rafi country, south of that is Kishore country, more or less. You are in between. आप तो रफी साहब के भक्त हैं।
हम सब भक्त होंगे भी।
But the point is, we are all admirers of Manna De, Rafi साहब। But क्या है? किशोर की आवाज सुनने में, उस आवाज में एक अपनापन है। We think that these people, these two, they are family. That is the only difference. Otherwise, सब अपने
Sir, sir. No, but this is really, I mean, thank you for doing this, It's opened up so many memories.
You know what I am listening to today, it sort of makes this book so worthwhile, because this is the passion we share for this decade, for this year, and the fact that going through this book brings up, as Moshmiti said, so many memories, and I think today if one looks at a few of these films qualitatively, they can be questioned by the so-called snobs and so-called, but I think it touches us, it connects with us in a very different way, where you cannot be rational, it's more emotional, and you actually think from the heart, because if there are some serious movie buffs here, and they say they had a whole program discussing Kala Sona, with the villain like Poppy Singh, I mean, are they crazy? But it's not so much Kala Sona or Poppy Singh, but it's that time period where it takes us, when we were children, when we were, yeah, Danny singing Sun Sun Kasam Se, and so it's cinema is not just what you're watching, it's how it's making you feel.
It's not about, it is now proven that it's not just about us. I'll give you a little technical fact. There are radio channels across the country which are making their entire moolah on the 70s music. You have dedicated 70s music radio channels. They will only play 70s, and I know because we interact with those people, and they are the diktat is play RD, play Kishore.
No, actually, as a huge R.D. Kishore fan, at sometimes I'm embarrassed because when you have these retro shows, I can imagine a Rafi Saab fan or Lakshmikant Pyarelal fan saying, "Hum log bhi retro the yaar. You log bhi retro." Retro is 80%, 90% R.D. Kishore. Sometimes even I feel ki kuch aur bhi baja do yaar. It's not just R.D. Kishore.
This is also true that after 1980, this is also true that what we have telling after 1980, after Rafi Saab passed away, Kishore Kumar at every concert he had a picture of Rafi Saab on stage. And he said, and the first song would be that bhajan. Mere Aziz Dost ke liye.
Well, I Aniruddha, you'll admit, I actually searched him out on the net, and I called him and I introduced myself to him and I said, what amazing work he's been doing, because I had read all the books, and on the net we had connected, and then I took his number and I called him.
Thank you so much, all the honorable guests, for giving these valuable.
When we start talking about the 70s, it's very difficult to stop us. We can go on and on, but I think.
Yes, sir, actually for that, because so many of us have not seen so many movies from these. This collection, this valuable collection, I would say, and I think this is a guide for a new generation. It's a guide. So for that we have kept a formal conversation of Pratik with Khushi Rungta, and she will be asking few questions with him so that we all will be much sorted and will be on.
We'll all be part of the answers and
you all will be part of this conversation. But for that we want to formally introduce Khushi and also Pratik to the audience who are new to him. I know so many of people know Pratik already, even with his pet name. So let me introduce Pratik to the audience first. Pratik is a passionate cinephile, music enthusiast and published author of collection of short stories. Pratik Majumdar began his career in advertising, working both in India and London. Pratik has amazed collection of Blu-rays, DVDs and vinyl record over the years, which I've seen yesterday, and was so happy and amazed to see all that collection.
I'm old-fashioned, so I don't believe in streaming or pen drives. I need DVDs, Blu-rays, vinyl records. That's the real thing.
But that is historical, I guess. 1975, the year that transformed Bollywood, is his second book as an author and his first book on cinema. And after listening you people, I think so many books like this should come.
There are many more books in it. They'll come out eventually.
Yes, and you all people will be dedicating for sure. And
that comes without saying, of course.
We will again bully Otrida and Moshmiti and Vikramda and Joya. I think you have bullied them enough, and that shall continue with my future books.
And with this, I request Mr. Amit Saxena, my better half, to welcome Pratik with a planter. It's a formal thing which we want to do. Hi, Pratik.
I won't be able to do anything about the 80s.
Now inviting Khushi, who is waiting since long. Khushi Rungta is the founder of Kolkata Bookworms, a dynamic community that celebrates the joy of reading. A passionate bibliophile and enthusiastic foodie, she is currently pursuing her MBA, blending her love for literature with a strong foundation in business management. Please, Khushi.
Let's have the new generation also. Yes.
I think it's very encouraging when we see youngsters like Khushi.
And request Amit to please present
program, yeah, in a program, retro program of the 70s. It's very, very encouraging.
Now I would like to hand over this to Khushi, who will engage Pratik with.
Khushi, I can just share maybe a little secret that you and I had spoken about. That when Khushi was preparing the questions, she told me that I haven't seen most of the movies in this book. So I've taken some help from my parents who have helped me this thing. I hope you don't mind I've given up that secret.
I'm putting this mic here.
Okay.
And this one is also
live. Oh, okay. So then I
you can you have to just push it and
Actually, I was going to start with an anecdote only because I'll make it clear to all of you and you all. This everyone today I think is very knowledgeable on the collection that Pratik sir has written about. But I would say I haven't seen all. I've seen some very famous movies out there. But maximum I have not seen. But I like to share this with you. When I sat with my parents discussing about the book, they went on talking. So I left the room after some time because they were again occupied in their memories, whom they went to see the movie with, what all they enjoyed. And a lot of it I resonated with the talks you people had today also. So thank you so much to all of you. It really set the conversation tone. So Seema ma'am or Tri sir both said you are a pure movie buff. Would you like to tell a little bit how you were made into a movie buff? Did it like come from your parents, or how did you take the love for movies?
Not, I don't know how much of it came from my parents because, you know, the generation that I come from, I think Vikramda mentioned that for us to see movies initially was always with parents. So we didn't have much of a choice what movie we wanted to see. Parents took us, so we went. The first movie I remember seeing on big screen was in '73. It was Bobby. And I was 4 years old at that time. And you know, the only scene that I remembered was the scene where there's a man wearing a black coat and Rishi Kapoor thinks it's a black coat and he's drawing something. I was fascinated by it. After that, I kept on seeing movies with them. But as I grew up, there were movies I wanted to see. For whatever reasons, I don't know why it came into me, but I knew my parents would never see. I'll give you an example. In 1981, there was a movie released called Ghumru Ki Awaaz. I don't think my father would ever want to go and see that movie. Yes.
I think we should.
So I knew my father would never see Ghumru Ki Awaaz, but I had a secret desire at 12 years of age. I want to see that movie. I didn't have the guts to tell my father कि मुझे Ghumru Ki Awaaz देखनी है. I probably would have got a slap. But you know, because those days you have to also realize, Khushi, Vikramda, Aniruddha, Utrida, they will all agree. Hindi cinema was not a very comfortable topic in most households. आज जैसे Bollywood is easily acceptable, at our time, cinema देखा, तो Hindi film देखा was not a very acceptable thing, you know. So we had to be very careful. And you know what I used to collect picture postcards, and I used to hide it from my parents in a Bata ka shoebox. So it's not like that anymore, you know, things are much different now. So in that scenario, how I became a movie buff, I really don't know. But I am very, you know, when someone asks me that do you like movies, I like movies from Ray to Ramsay Brothers, from Bergman to
Saboot.
Exactly. Gina
Saboot is a very good film.
Yeah. So Ramsay has some classic movies.
I will accept.
And Bergman to Bokadia.
Pratik, I will accept your range if at one end you put a film called Gunda.
Gunda is a cult classic. You have to see it. I mean, I cannot say some of the dialogues here, but they're absolutely iconic.
This generation, only the older people will know what
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, love for cinema, but I'll also tell you, you know, it's, when I was about 15, 16, I knew I loved movies. But I was very conscious of what I say to people when they ask me. Hello? No, this is fine. So, you know, when I was around 15, 16, I was very conscious कि क्या बोलना है. oh, Pratik loves movies. Yeah, I love Satyajit Ray, which I do. But I also love Manmohan Desai. Bridge I think is fantastic.
Which is a gap here.
But I didn't have the guts to say that publicly. You know that no, Bridge is Chori Mera Kaam. Rafu Chakkar is Narendra Bedi. So you know, but over the years when I started reading, and we are from the pre-internet, pre-Google, pre-Wikipedia generation.
Pre-everything.
Exactly. So we used to only read some magazines or get some information somewhere about movies. And I read an interview of Martin Scorsese, who's a huge favorite director of mine. And there was a film reviewer called Barry Norman, and he said, I asked some famous directors to name their top 20 films, and I got the list from everyone. I had to stop Martin Scorsese at 165, because he couldn't stop at his top 20. And his movies included Citizen Kane, Casablanca, and Die Hard. So the range was, you know, cinema is cinema, good cinema, bad cinema, but there's nothing like artsy cinema and commercial cinema. You know, there's only good cinema and bad cinema, and my bar for bad cinema is pretty high. I mean, actually pretty high, because it has to be really, really bad for me to sit on 8 hours second time. You know, I see Ramsey brother movies, Do Gaz Zameen Ke Niche, I must have seen 20 times. They're like absolute classic. So I learned that you don't have to be restrictive in the kind of cinema you like. You know, so I became a movie buff, I think, by myself, because my parents shudder sometimes, even now, when they see that I have switched on Purana Mandir or some movie like that, and they're like, you're seeing Brief Encounter, or you're seeing those kind of movies, and how can you also see a Purana Mandir? And I say, I love both. I think to me, Amar Akbar Anthony is the Pothe Panchali of masala movies. If you want to know how to make a masala movie, you have to see Amar Akbar Anthony 20 times.
Simultaneous blood transfusion.
That one I have seen.
So you know,
Tomato transfer. Sauce transfer.
RH, blood group RH. RH ka blood group. I mean, brilliant stuff. Who thinks of these things? RH ka khun chahiye. So, you know, I think my love is for cinema. But when I'm going to see a Manmohan Desai film, I know what I'm going to see. I'm not expecting a Shyam Benegal or a Satyajit Ray or a Hrithik Gautam. When I'm seeing a Satyajit Ray film, I know what I'm seeing. When I'm seeing a Woody Allen film, I know what I'm seeing. So it's just that I love cinema. You know, I love cinema. So
Didn't Manmohan Desai have any releases in 75?
no, actually he had 4 releases in 77. Chacha Bhatija, Dharamveer, Parvarish and Amar Akbar Anthony. No. 77. They did, Nasib is 81. 81.
The people who made, if I might interrupt, the people who made 70s memorable. See, if I can just cut in, because see, from the late 80s onwards, or mid 80s onwards, he mentioned Chawanni Phek movies. After, you know why he died out after 85? Because you didn't have those lines. कि एक झकास dialogue आएगा जिसमें अरे गुरु करे, you don't have, and the reason for that, who gave us the lines like जब तक बैठने को ना बोला जाए शराबत से खड़े रहो, और डावर साहब मैं भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाते. Salim Javed.
I was just going to say.
Salim Javed, they made the cinema of the 80s because every movie they did had lines that we remember today. And Sholay was just, every scene in Sholay has lines that we remember. So Salim Javed was also a very, very important factor in 75.
Salim Javed had Sholay and Diwar in 1 year. So I think the script of Diwar should be kept as a national treasure. I think it's perhaps one of the most perfect scripts in Hindi commercial cinema. And as you rightly said, dialogues, and I'll add a couple of other names to Salim Javed where dialogue is concerned. Amitabh Bachchan was so famous for his dialogue deliveries, and Hum Jahan Khade Ho Jate line was. It's not Amitabh's dialogue, it's Bob Christo's, which is this thing. But Amitabh had so many iconic dialogues. And other than Salim Javed, one more person I think, in fact I think he's one of the most underrated cinema personalities in Bollywood is Kadir Khan. I think Kadir Khan, to give perhaps the closest. We'll come back to your next question, Khushi. I'm sorry we are digressing a lot, but I'll just finish this one thing about Kadir Khan. I think Kadir Khan is the Monty Python of India. He is so underrated and he's forgotten by an entire generation. But he is, someone who's really played a huge role in building up this persona of Amitabh Bachchan beyond Salim Javed. When we talk of Amitabh Bachchan and the angry young man, it's often restricted to Salim Javed, and rightly so, because they are the main, people who've built up this angry young man. But you cannot take away Kadir Khan's role in dialogue writing in Bollywood. Let's go to your next question, Khushi.
Okay, so like Dimya ma'am also mentioned that you didn't have to do a lot of research because it was all there, it was in your memories, but still you must have done a lot of research to bring up the facts and everything. Anything surprising that you also figured out while researching for this book which amused you?
Well, to be very honest, out of the 30 films I've chosen, I had seen 27 of them. And I had seen them inside out. So if you woke me up and say, write on Diwar, I could write. But there were 3 movies which I hadn't seen, but I knew I had to see them to write about them. One was a movie called Sannyasi, starring Manoj Kumar. The only thing I knew about Sannyasi was a song called Chal Sannyasi Mandir Mein. I didn't know anything else about the movie. And I hadn't seen the movie in all these years, but I said, it was one of the top 4 highest grossing films of the year. So I went and saw it, and it was quite, if I may say, a torturous thing for me to sit through that movie. No, it was, again, I am in the minority because Sannyasi was such a huge hit, so most people must have loved it for it to become such a huge hit. But I really struggled as to what should I write about Sannyasi. I really struggled, so that was one movie. A second movie which I hadn't seen, which was a big success, was Geet Gata Chal. Because it was, when I was that age, I wanted the action or the R.D. Burman, that movie. And Geet Gata Chal didn't fall in any one of those categories. Ravindra Jain. So I hadn't seen the movie. I knew the songs because they were quite hits. But surprisingly, when I saw the movie after 50 years, I loved the movie. It was such a simple, I think you mentioned that there was so much simplicity, so much of simplicity in cinema. And Geet Gata Chal was such a beautiful experience for me. I said, I haven't seen this movie in all these years. I think I'm a big movie buff and all. I've not seen this movie. It's such a sweet, simple, it actually, the other thing that it's a very, very Rajashri film. But what I feel, what makes the 70s still so relevant and so, this thing not only amongst our generation, but even other generations, is filmmaking at that time was an expression of passion. An expression, I'm not getting into qualitative issues, but I have a passion to tell a story, and I say that. Today, it's about return on investment. मैं 100 करोड़ डाल रहा हूँ, 500 करोड़ आएगा. It's not art. It's more business, it's more commerce. 75 mein, whether a guy is making Sannyasi or he's making a Kala Sona, or his first starting block was not, मैं इतना बनाऊंगा तो कितना वापस आएगा. The starting block was, I want to tell a story. So there was that passion, and I think that somehow overrules or overrides this qualitative aspect which a lot of film snobs have, Acha, you watch Nishant, you also watch Sannyasi. I do. Because, if something is made from the heart, is made with passion, somewhere it will touch you.
I want to ask you something. I just had this thought that when did you also, as a kid, when you were watching the film, before it started, did you look at how many reels it is?
Oh, that
okay,
was the
so now it's the other way around. Now if it's a long film, then you're like, oh hell, I got to go there, I have to catch that, oh deri ho jabe, barite khabar nahi hai na. those days, if a movie was just 16 reels, we used to be disappointed, you know. 16 reels only. I want a 24 reel film like Sholay.
You know, Vikram, that there was a collective sigh in the theatres. Tokon 18 reeler kom kono cinema hall everyone's disappointed. It's not 18 reels or 20 reels or 21 reels. So yes, that was.
These days you have 1 hour ad gap between,
I often forget what
45
movie
minutes.
how it ended and interval. I often forget. You know, because there's so many ads happening.
Since simplicity came up, there was again our he's written a book about middle of the road, Pashu Chatterjee, but their movies had a certain simplicity that still touches you. You see Choti Si Baat and Rajnigandha. And the other thing which we don't get apparently, Pratik was telling me that now new movies commission, whether for OTT or theatres, they're very clear that you have to have a contact. It has to relate to small town North India, because that is where they have the viewer. A very major character in the movies of the mid-70s was the city of Bombay. Even things like, not this year alone, but Haronda, Rajnigandha, Choti Si Baat, Manzil, the ultimate love, ode to Bombay. I don't see that in movies now. They can show a certain locale. They can set it somewhere. They can show a house there. They can show Benares Ka Ghat. But that immediate contact where the setting itself is something you remember forever, that is no longer.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Yeah,
maybe out of, it's not, it's more for a father to the son, not about English cinema, not about. Pratik's passion for cinema is very genuine. He has mentioned something in the introduction of this book. It said 1939 Bollywood. Nobody knows how passionate he is about old Hollywood film. He is equally passionate. He can discuss for the whole night his love for Hollywood movies of the 30s. You know, who are named Babu, which we like. It's not very relevant today, so it's digressing. But it's word which he used, passion for film. It surprises me because it's not there in our family. But Pratik, I don't know where he got it from, maybe from the mother's side. But no, because his passion is very genuine. His knowledge of international film, not that Hollywood, international film, amazing.
I'm surprised, we'll cut it short because I want to.
Even old Bosta Kocha Bengali film.
Oh yes.
Oh, they give you good.
There are movies that are kicks out of which we saw as Tonsil, Molina Devi,
Hanabadi. I love Chupi Chupi Ashe. I love those movies. Archiving is very bad in India, so you really don't have any preservation of film. But Khushi, I think you are surrounded by people who are absolute film buffs. Yeah.
But I also take back so many things with me back. I'm sure I'll go and watch a movie today.
Yeah, watch one from this book.
Anyone you would recommend?
I'll tell you, yes.
Okay, so my next question was something I actually took from my parents' conversation only. They said that they used to watch शनिवार की रात सितारों के साथ and शनिवार की रात अमिताभ के साथ on Zee Cinema. So they used to curl up with their families and watch those movies. So it was an entire community family thing that they used to have over there. Do you think that this generation is missing the joy of watching movies with their families and connecting over movies?
Look, I think time changes. Every generation has their own way of watching cinema. For us, cinema was either go to the big screen and watch with parents first, then when you grow slightly older, watch with friends. But then came Doordarshan and television, and cinema watching on Saturday evenings or Sunday evenings was not just a family affair, Khushi, but it was an entire para affair. You know, everyone in those days didn't have a TV at home. Jarbadi the TV actually.
the color TV.
That came in the 80s.
Next level.
That came, you know.
I've also heard they use one person used to switch the antenna
On the terrace they were doing it. So it was, you know, society was, today we've really become nuclear families. Today situation is the husband is in one room watching something on OTT, the wife is in another room. Cinema has become much more accessible in every household. You watch cinema even on your phones. I don't know how people can do that. I'm very old fashioned. I can't do that. I can't do that. Kintu topon, in the 70s, cinema viewing was a family affair. I still have memories in my house in Niwalipur, we used to stay in Niwalipur that time, watching a film with the entire family and getting butterflies in my stomach because it was Sunday evening and Monday I had school and I hadn't done my homework and I was, you know, so film watching was very different. You know, film watching, to buy a ticket of an Amitabh Bachchan movie or a Rajesh Khanna movie, your generation cannot understand that struggle. Where you click a button on your phone and 4 tickets are there, including popcorn and Coke. We had to put our hands through a hole which was this much and, you know, make your hand tera and first day, first show. You know, if you went to see an Amitabh Bachchan movie first day, first show, you had to be prepared that you are not going to see the movie. It's just an experience because for the first half an hour, you couldn't hear a dialogue. People would be screaming. First time I saw, so I asked my friend who's a big Amitabh Bachchan fan, I asked him, why are they marring CT? He's entered, okay. Second time when he comes there again marring CTs, why are they sunglass pehna hai isliye. Third time. So the first half an hour of the movie you haven't heard a single dialogue. Because everyone is borrowing CTs, throwing coins, shouting. That experience, and today you're sitting on a reclined seat in some Inoxes, I think they have, you can have full 180-degree sleep and watch, I don't know how to do it.
No, but I clearly remember watching movies for 75 paisa. And the front row, I watched Silsila in the front row in Menuka, and I was right to the left. And the screen was a bit oval shaped, you know, concave. And I was sitting at such an angle that Jaya Bhaduri was a little taller than Amitabh Bachchan from my angle. You know?
Yeah, so, you know, movie viewing was very different back then. And but as I said, you know, every generation have their own ways. Today, the way you all sit and watch movies, 20 years later, your children will tell you the same thing. Ki aap log kaise dekh rahe the? We see it so much differently. So it sort of changes with generation.
So I think I'm missing a little song action also. So I have a request to you. If you had to sing a song to all of us today, which one would you select?
I will ask Indranil to set the tone. Indranil, there is this song from Dharam Karam, which is an RK film where R.T. Burman was never used much. I think this was the first time only the R.T. was working in an RK film. And he composed a song mainly for Raj Kapoor Saab. And you know, the comparison is so strong when you have Shankar Jaikishan, Mukesh ji, you know, singing for R.T. Burman, for Raj Kapoor. So, Indranil, if you can sing that song, you know which song I'm talking about. You can start that, and I think all of us here know that song. This is the song where everyone can sing.
तुझे
में काटे लाख बिछाए, होगी तो फिर भी बिछड़ा यार मिलाए। अनहोनी मन में काटे लाख बिछाए, होगी तो फिर भी बिछड़ा यार मिलाए। ये बिरहा ये दूरी दो पल की मजबूरी, फिर कोई दिल वाला काहे को घबराए। नरम कंधारा जो बहती है मिलकर रहती है, बहती धारा बन जा फिर दुनिया से लो। एक दिन बिक जाएगा पानी के मोल, जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे हो। ला 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 ला, ला 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 ला। There is a stanza where Kishore also enters. ना हो बस में तेरे कोई माना, तेरा धर्म है अपना कर्म निभाना। ना हो बस में तेरे कोई माना, तेरा धर्म है अपना कर्म निभाना। तेरे पीछे ला 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 ला, I'm pretty bad at lyrics. La 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 la। धर्म तुम सर को झुकाए क्यों, बैठा क्या है यार। गोरी से ना जोड़ फिर दुनिया से ढोल, अच्छा कुछ दिन बिक जाएगा माटी के मोल, जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे हो। आशा को has been beautifully photographed in the film. If you remember, I think it was again ये एक राधू गोमुखा, right?
The only problem is with Dharam Karam is, for a long time, I confused it with Dharam Veer, which is the only movie where Dharmendra wore a skirt.
Yeah.
And
he looked hot, and he looked hotter than Zinata Man.
Okay, I have one last question for you, then we wrap up this session. So Bollywood is often called the mirror of society. So what do you think the movies of 1975 portrayed the identity of society at that time? If something brief you could share.
This is a very personal opinion, and I'll ask everyone else here to give their views as well. You know, the effect cinema has on life, and what effect life has on cinema is a very it's a very cyclical thing, and it's almost like chicken and egg to me. Which came first? You know, does life imitate art, or does art get inspired by life? But if we look at 75, if we look at the political scenario, the social setup in India at that time, you know, 25, 27 years since independence, a kind of angst developing. Hello? Yeah, a kind of angst developing amongst people. There is a certain kind of restlessness. The dreams when achieved independence in 47, you know, sort of.
I think you're running out of air.
Yeah. So. So you know, that somewhat reflected in the cinema of 75, especially with very perceptive writers like Salim Javed being on the screen at that time. It started with 73 and Zanjeer, the anger of the common man, the helplessness, the frustrations of the common man, and you know, one of the things which I think was so important in this anger, this angst being portrayed by someone like Amitabh Bachchan and not say a Dharmendra or a Vinod Khanna, who were physically much more suited perhaps for these angry roles and these tough roles. But with Amitabh Bachchan, the common man could identify more with. That you don't have to be a bodybuilder like Dharmendra
or a macho man like Vinod Khanna to express your anger. You can be tall and lanky, lean, like Amitabh Bachchan, but when he has that pent-up anger coming out, it doesn't seem unreal that he can bash up a Shetty or an Amjad Khan, because it's that anger that he's representing and not the physicality. In the Diwar, which is considered an action film, actually had 2 fight scenes. It had one scene in the go-down where he fights, and the other scene was towards the climax where he bashes up the villain, Madan Puri. But otherwise there was no fight. But that anger, that angst that Amitabh Bachchan through his voice, yeah.
Had a lot of Maka Ashirwad.
No, it did. But I'm saying that there was that part which was perhaps, making the common man going to see a movie say that I can also be like Amitabh Bachchan. I don't need to have a muscular body to fight and show my anger. And there were the simple films like the Choti Si Baat, the Milli, the Chupke Chupke. It was an era where the middle class, which is I think the largest section of society which sees cinema, they could go to a cinema hall and watch a Choti Si Baat and a Chupke Chupke. Later on in the 80s, these movies flopped, or these kind of movies flopped because people saw it at home on VCRs. They didn't bother to go out to the theatres and see these movies. So it is in a way representative of the times we lived in, and at the same time, the way we were leading our lives also reflected in the movie. So it was a bit of both, I think.
To बोलते चाहे because being an actor, एक perspective to बोलते चाहे because Amitabh Bachchan, me and Vikram always talk about the intensity in his performance. It's just new thing what came in film industry, in acting purpose, because being a hero who was so real. Now the acting approach is different, Amitabh. But that time what he brought for us as an audience, it's completely new, and he's so intense. And like that, I'll say one more actor, Amol Palekar. How people loved him, his simplicity, innocence. That being an actor, how director explored this kind of characters, which stayed with us. Still now we can see Golmaal, how can he the Muchu is here and Muchu nahi. So that convincing with our presentation, I think that was the 70s era. Ekon loke eto relate korbe na, because a lot of changes happened.
What you said, Jaya, Amol Palekar, imagine in today's age, a hero like Amol Palekar in Choti Si Baat. It takes so much of guts to play a role like that. It takes so much of guts, but it was that simplicity, that naivety which struck a chord with the audience. Amitabh Bachchan, you spoke of his intensity. I will give you one scene in Diwar, which is one of my most favorite scenes. I'm sure most of you all have seen the movie. There is a scene where Iftikhar, who's the leading don, hands over the chair to Amitabh Bachchan saying, I've grown old, it's time for you to take over. And Iftikhar walks away with Sudhir, and Amitabh Bachchan is alone in the room. He's looking at the chair. He's just looking at the chair, and then he sits on the chair and he puts his 2 feet up on the table. I can give you my last dollar to say no actor today can that intensity they cannot replicate. Without a dialogue spoken, it's just the way he looks and his body language. Today there is a much overused word called attitude. Amitabh Bachchan exuded attitude in that scene, and it's not about physical brawn or toughness. It's that what Jaya said, that intensity, that thing. So these are things which stay with you. These are things I may not remember all the dialogues of Diwar, which are iconic in any way, but are these small scenes which stay with you and make the movie so memorable.
The other thing is, so when you were mentioning Amitabh, I think the other thing that he brought to Indian cinema, which to some extent Sanjeev Kumar had in his delivery, but he didn't have आवाज नहीं थी. So what he brought was ठहराव. In every performing art, ठहराव has its own importance. So I will not say who said this, but this was reported to me by somebody who has always been very critical about Amitabh Bachchan. You can work it out for yourself. I won't say it in public. B grade actor था, B grade actor है, B grade actor रहेगा. मालूम है कहाँ मार देता है? हमसे कोई पूछे कि मेरा नाम क्या है तो मैं कहूँगा बरखुरदार मेरा नाम XYZ है। वो मैं तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ, वो क्या करेगा? वो बोलेगा मेरा नाम अमिताभ बच्चन है, वो 2 सेकंड में मात दे दिया। So that I think was missing, and that is what he brought. And Diwar and Sholay were both prime examples of Tehrav and delivery.
You know, but that was a Dilip Kumar thing. Amitabh Bachchan took it wholly from Dilip Kumar.
There was a gap. There was a gap.
Dilip Kumar.
Absolutely. But there was a gap between Dilip Kumar's peak and Amitabh, so that he brought it back.
You know,
you're right.
If somebody wants to understand the 70s today, you have to watch Angry Young Men. This documentary on Salim Javed, you have to watch it. And you have to see that scene where Javed Sahab says he cries, you know, and they cut the scene there. He says, हमें तो खाना नहीं मिलता था, अब जब 5-star होटल में इतना खाना लाता है, मुझे लगता है कि मेरे लिए नहीं है, आज भी लगता है, and then he cries. So that is the intensity in the script writing also that was incorporated.
I think the audience has been very patient. They've taken in a lot of this thing. So let's have something fun for the audience also where they can participate. We have a little quiz that has been organized. So there are quite a few, I think, who would like to participate in that.
Questions.
I think also Pratik will be asking the questions, and then we have some...
After that we have the question. We'll have the quiz, then we have the interaction with the audience and question answer round. Yeah, sure. We'll definitely
allowed to answer by the
way.
Pratik, you ask 2-3 questions and we'll go.
Okay.
Thank you, Khushi. Thank you so much.
The first question, I think Aniruddha, you know all the answers. So
he's not allowed to.
Yeah, I don't think you should be participating in
You are
this.
not allowed because you are
Only the
so
audience.
knowledgeable. And,
This is essentially for the audience. There was one song in a 75 movie composed by R.D. Burman, which he was inspired from a nursery rhyme. So if any of you can tell me the nursery rhyme and the... I should have said that you are not allowed, but he's raised...
My pride. Okay, come and give the answer.
No, and another...
Yes, ladies will choose. You
Are
have
the
to put your
ladies
hand
will
up
choose? Whoever
and one
puts
of
up
the
the hand,
ladies will
yeah.
choose.
Put up your hand, yeah.
Yes.
Whoever knows the answer, put up your hand.
And nobody is allowed
The
to
only
say, if they'll say, they will be disqualified. So you have to raise your hand.
Sanjay.
Chalo, bolo Sanjay.
एक में और एक
And the nursery rhyme? And what's the nursery rhyme?
When you're happy.
Okay, ठीक है. One question, right? Okay, the questions are easy. Bolo.
Again, sorry for that. So, Ek Mein Aur Ek Tu is one of my favorite song sequences to watch. Because Neetu Singh considered, I didn't know what this man was doing. He didn't know what to do with his feet. But natural rhythm. Today, you know, Nora Fatehi, Tiger Shroff rehearsing for 2 weeks, doing a 2 crore song. There, it's just Rishi Kapoor and Neetu Singh doing this. And, you know, you have to. It's just natural.
So we have a twist here. The one who is giving one answer will getting a prize, but one who is giving 2 right answers, they are getting a different prize.
They will get this.
Yes. Here is the prize.
So 2 questions, you get this.
So he
1
answered
question, you
One
get
question
this.
you get a magnetic bookmark.
And yes, you will be allowed to answer 1 more to get this prize.
No, but we choose.
Acha, there is a 1975 movie. There's a 1975 movie which has a song, and in the song you can see a poster of another movie which was released in 1975. No, you cannot answer. First raise your hand. Let's see who knows.
Not Sanjay.
Only one person.
Do you know?
What is the question actually, sir? We'll follow it.
The question.
I can't get the answer. Okay, the question, you're right, Sanjay. The question was which 1975 movie has a song in which there is a poster of another 1975 movie?
I just read
So yeah, so you are right, you get this cup, you are not going to be allowed to answer any more questions.
Now you are out. Come and get your gift. Come, question C.
Yeah, the answer is Choti Si Baat is the movie, and there is a song in the movie called Na Jaane Kyun, which has a poster of Zameen. So he won't get any more questions.
I think now we'll have a picture.
Okay, I'll ask one more question. One more question, which is a very simple question which most of you will know here. A hit movie from 1975 was based on a short story by Rabindranath Tagore. Which movie and which short story? Bolo Ayushman. Correct. The answer is the movie Geet Gata Chal was based on a short story by Rabindranath called Poti. So Ayushman gets one question right. Achha, now we have some Pictionary questions.
So you are not giving Ayushman a chance for another one. Now we have something very interesting and interactive thing. We are showing some pictures. You have to guess the name of the movie through the emojis.
Can we participate?
Of course, yes, you can participate.
So where are the pictures?
Yes. Sanskritam, please bring. Nobody will say, just raise your hand. Just raise your hand.
Is it from 1975?
Yes, these movies are from 1975. This is the most easiest.
Come on, get your brain sticky.
This is the most easiest.
Aman Akbar, I'm coming.
Oh, sorry, you can't say. You have to just raise your hand.
Please raise your hand.
But it's not that.
Okay, give a clue. Give a clue.
If I give a clue, then
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, give a clue. Give a clue.
चलता है जिया मोरा भीगी So give it to Ayushman.
Now we have another one. It was not that difficult, I guess.
Raise your hands, please.
Raise your hands.
Don't give the answer, just raise your hand.
Bindya and Pratik have to try it in one go.
Sorry.
Was that the answer though?
No, I'm she raised her hand.
Rini.
Is it Rafu Chakkar?
Correct.
রিনি তুমি দুটো ছবির আমার নায়িকা আমি বলে দিয়েছি
थोड़ा घूम जाइए ना
রিনি দুটো ছবির আমার নায়িকা রফু চক্কর বলে
We have a chance for another question, right?
You get one more chance. You get one more chance. This is again.
What is the question? It is like that.
Please don't say it.
Acha, okay. So she's got one question, right? Okay, this is a very simple one, sir. Yeah, this is a very Kala Soda. That was Kala Soda.
and that was copy singing side
Okay, this next question is very easy, so I'm glad these guys are out. The original choice for Gabbar Singh in Sholay was Danny, but he couldn't do Sholay because he was shooting for another film. You are not allowed. This is a simple question. So which was the film that he was shooting for, which is why he couldn't do Sholay? Also a 75 release. Correct.
Next dictionary is this.
Yeah, that's a famous motorbike from Sholay.
Where was that scene shot? Where was that scene shot? No.
Picha.
Okay, the next question is
Ye Dosti and Basanti Tanga Chase is all shot in Panvel.
a 1975 film is Zameen, starring Amitabh Bachchan and Saira Banu. It was thematically similar to a film of the 60s. You cannot answer anymore. So it was thematically similar to a Devanand film from the 60s. So you have to tell me what was the name of the Devanand film and who was the heroine in that film. Yes.
Bombay Ka Babu Suchitra Sen.
Correct answer.
Yes. So we have one more picture here.
Achha, there's one more question. Okay.
Show me that side also.
Arey, come on.
The back side.
What's the song?
Who's answering? Correct. Chupke is the right clue.
Shumon has also answered.
She didn't answer.
She answered.
No, she didn't. She heard it. Him answer. This year to give it.
This is partiality. Achha, there is. I have a last question. There are two films, both released in 1975. In terms of story, they have a common link, and also in terms of the names of the leading man, they have a common link. So you have to name the two films and the name of the leading men in both the films.
This is a tough question, I can answer.
You won't get any proportion.
Okay,
Neither is 1975.
I will not take a prize.
Neither of them is a 1975.
Let someone try.
Anyone try? No one knows.
Same, আর hero নাম দুটোতে same. Both, the essential plot line, the main plot line is the same in both these movies, and the name of the hero is the same in both these movies.
She's trying. Guide and Judy.
No. They are 60.
1975.
These are not 75.
Is it Chupke and Chhatrapeshi?
No, Chhatrapeshi came earlier, and that's a Bangla cinema in any case.
Okay, it's Farar and Prem Kahani.
Yes, Farar and Prem Kahani is the right answer. Both the stories essentially talk about a man who's on the run from the law, and he takes shelter in the house of his ex-lover, and the ex-lover's husband is the police who's responsible for catching this man. So that's a common link in Farar and Prem Kahani. And coincidentally, both the heroes in Farar and Prem Kahani were called Rajesh. Amitabh was called Rajesh.
Which was tribute to Ittifaq.
Shut up, Abhi Jani. No.
36 घंटे. 36 घंटे also.
And there's one more, actually there's a third common link in both the films. in both the films, the police commissioner was Murad, and he had the same dialogue, Rajesh ko pakad ke lao. So both in Farrar and in Prem Kahani, he uses the same dialogue.
So we have next Pictionary, and this is for all of you who are, don't be disappointed, we have something for everyone. But here, the winners are getting a special. So here is another one. This is the most Yes, please.
It is the entire house.
Yes, and we have one more to get.
Who have to say two? They don't hear you.
No, you will get one also. If you answer two, you will get the special.
Full home team को represent कर रही हूँ मैं. जिम्मेदारी बहुत है. Please got two questions, right?
No, one.
अरे ठीक है, मैं नहीं जानता.
For one also ठीक है. So let's find out. So I request everyone, as we are about to...
Just ask if anyone has questions or this thing.
Yeah, if anyone is having questions, they want to ask Pratik and want to get their book signed, as Pratik is here already, so they can come to Pratik and you can please your
You have made a slight slip up. Casablanca was not directed by Martin Scorsese, it was directed by Michael Curtis. It is Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart starrer.
Yeah, sir, I didn't say Casablanca was directed. I've seen Casablanca some 40 times. What I meant was, those were my classic movies that I like, and I took Martin Scorsese's name in an interview that I read where he was asked to name the top 20 films of his personal favorite, and he actually stopped at 165. So I didn't say that Martin Scorsese was directing.
He was more noted for his gangster movies.
Yes, but you know, if you see the versatility of Martin Scorsese, he has done King of Comedy. He has done a beautiful human drama movie called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. So you know, unfortunately, in a way that he's known more for Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Mean Streets, Departed, you know, which I think is the least deserving movie to get an Oscar. Martin Scorsese should have been given an Oscar much earlier. Exactly.
Now to get down to my question. 1975, the year that transformed Bollywood. The very term Bollywood and Tollywood derived from Hollywood. Once upon a time, when this word Bollywood was first coined, was it before 1975?
I wouldn't think so, sir. I don't have a right answer because I don't know when the word Bollywood was coined. But personally, you know, despite having a title saying the year that transformed Bollywood, you know, I would still prefer to call it Hindi cinema and not Bollywood. And it's unfortunately the times that we live in. You know, we are almost forced to use Bollywood as a very common term. It's you know, in fact, some of my essays, they mentioned Bollywood as Hindi cinema, which is the way I want to do it. But unfortunately, as I said, it's a sign of times we live in, and Bollywood is a title or a word which is sort of reaches out to more people than if I just say Hindi cinema. But I don't know, if you have the answer, sir, I would love to know the answer. Okay, because I would love to know, but I'm sure it came after 75. I'm sure it came after 70. It would have been the 80s, 90s. Well, Amitabh Bachchan himself didn't like the term, and in a lot of his early interviews, he refused to call it Bollywood. He would say it's Hindi cinema.
Okay, thank you everyone. We need to wind up now. If you all should kindly, okay, last question please. And if you all could kindly go down and get the book, all of you who are interested, to get it signed by the author, right? So yes, please.
Mr. Majumdar, it's wonderful. Your research and documentation on the period is very, let's say, wonderful. You have really gone into the nitty-gritty and got for us all the things which many people who are not there will remember, will learn, and many who were there in that era may have forgotten it, and it'll work as a remembrance for them. My question is, since you are in Calcutta, Bengal, in the 70s, Bengal had a wonderful influence in Bollywood. Because if you see the best, apart from the movies you mentioned, which are entertainment, Amitabh Bachchan, Vinod Khanna, for entertainment, for the masses. But there were movies made in Hindi cinema which appeal to the heart. Like, starting from the Bimal Roy school, like directors like Rishikesh Mukherjee, Basu Bhattacharya, Basu Chatterjee, Shubhendu Roy, and also Gulzar. Though he may not be a Bengali, but he can be all from the Bengal line of directors. So that sensitivity, that appeal to the heart, was one part, and another part was, many of the classics, good movies or classic movies of Bollywood were adapted from Bengali stories, like Tagore's Keet Katachal, Narendranath Mitra's Saudagar, Bibhitibhushan Bandyopadhyay's Nishi Padma, which was made into Amar Prem, Ashutosh Mukhopadhyay's Cholachal, which was made into Safar, and many of the movies are remakes of Bangla films. So that was a wonderful era for Bangla films and for Bangla culture, for Bangla film directors. When we saw those same Bangla films, it was Bangla story in Hindi, which went to the rest of the country. Yeah, but don't you think today Bangla culture is almost non-existent?
Before I answer that question, I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Before that, I would say that it was part of the questions that we were going to discuss, but unfortunately, we all got carried away so much talking about the 70s, we couldn't do the full round of questions. Uttam Kumar, such a legendary star in Bangla cinema, unfortunately never made his mark in Hindi cinema. And I often wondered why. Uttam Babu ko eto boro abhineta keno Bangla cinema jerokom সাফল্য পেয়েছিলেন হিন্দি সিনেমায় পাননি। And I think আমার personal, আমি বলছি না সেটাই ঠিক কারণ, কিন্তু আমার মতে উত্তম বাবু was a quintessential Bangala. He had nothing, I would say, Indian in that sense. অবাঙালিদের কাছে উত্তম pan-Indian ছিলেন না. He was a quintessential Bangali. 75 was such a crucial year for him. He had Omanush in Hindi, which was such a bumper hit. And I have written that in my book, that it was a brief glimpse to what the rest of India missed. They just got a glimpse of that in Omanush. Uttam Babu je acting করেছেন Omanushe, he was way beyond his leading hero days. 75 Omanushe, he looked a little older. He wasn't that romantic hero that we had seen him in Bangla cinema. Kintu 75 gave us a glimpse of Uttam Babu ki korte parten Bollywood had he. আপনি এত লিটারালি লোকেদের কথা বললেন, ডিরেক্টরদের কথা বললেন, 70s এ হিন্দি সিনেমাতে বাঙালিদের যে অবদান ছিল, শক্তি সামন্ত, বাসু চ্যাটার্জি, ঋষিকেশ মুখার্জি, বাসু ভট্টাচার্য, এরা they have created such memorable films. Pramod Chakraborty, they were all Bangalis. Dulal Guho, they made আজকের জেনারেশনের বেশিরভাগ লোকেরা এদের নামও জানে না, দুলাল গুহর নাম বা প্রমোদ চক্রবর্তীর নামও তারা জানে না, কিন্তু Bengalis have played such an important role in shaping Bollywood, and it is not always only with Bangla adaptation. প্রমোদ চক্রবর্তীর বেশিরভাগ সিনেমায় বাঙালিয়ানা কিছু ছিল না, বারুদ, আজাদ, নয়া জামানা, জুগনু, বাঙালিয়ানা কিছুই ছিল না, they were all Bangali directors. শক্তি সামন্তর বইয়ে বাঙালি একটা প্রভাব ছিল,
For
Evening in Paris again, Kashmir Ki Kali, so Howrah Bridge, so Bangaliদের, they have always been there. And in the 70s there were, in fact একটা চ্যাপ্টার আছে যেখানে I'm talking about the filmmakers of 75. There's a separate part in that chapter which speaks about the Bangla influence. এই সব ডিরেক্টররা যে কাজ করেছেন 70s এ, Rajesh Khanna has come up thanks to Shakti Samanta. Aradhana Jimmy, that entire superstar phase was started by Shakti Samanta.
And
S.D. Burman, Kishore Kumar, R.D. Burman. So this thing, your second part of the question, I am not qualified enough to answer. যে এখন আনফর্চুনেটলি আমার যেটা মনে হয়, দিস ইজ अगेन a very personal observation, আমার যেটা মনে হয় যে আগে আমরা দেখতাম বাংলা সিনেমা থেকে অ্যাডাপ্ট করে হিন্দি হলো, রাজেশ খান্নার কত সিনেমা অরিজিনাল উত্তম কুমার করেছেন বাংলায়। দেওয়ানেয়া থেকে অনুরোধ হয়েছে, নিশিপদ্ম আমার প্রেম হয়েছে, কলঙ্কিত নায়ক চরিত্রহীন সঞ্জীব কুমারের হয়েছে।
Sorry to interrupt now, we need to wind up because the time is ticking. It's really 9 o'clock. So please, if, just 1 minute, I would just like to give a small token to our guests over here, and then we can have the book signing after that. Just a minute.
ঘুরতে পারলো
ডাকনাম ফার্স্ট, ডাকনাম হয়ে গেল ভাই, ডাকনাম বেরিয়ে গেল,
बहुत बदमाश है
ও বদমাশি করে বলে দিয়েছে না, বাট তোমায় বদমাশি করে
अरे अभी बहुत He's proud of his name. That should be.